star-nosed mole. The star-nosed mole is a small mammal found in the wetlands and marshes of eastern North America and southeastern Canada. It's one of the few mole species that can swim, and it spends much of its life tunneling through soft, waterlogged soil. The species was first discovered in the late 1700s, but the function of its strange face wasn't fully understood until the 1990s. A star-nosed mole is about 7 to 8 inches long, roughly the size of a hamster, and weighing around 2 ounces. The fur is dark brown to nearly black, dense, and water-resistant. It has powerful front shovel-like claws. And then, where a normal nose should be, 22 fleshy pink tentacles fan out in a perfect ring, a living star pressed onto the front of its head. Its creepy-looking nose contains over 100,000 nerve fibers, 6 times more than a human hand. The mole doesn't use it to smell. It's using it to feel. Every tentacle is constantly moving, mapping the soil in 3 dimensions through pure touch. It hunts by sweeping the tentacles across the soil at incredible speed, touching up to 12 different points per second. When a tentacle brushes prey, the mole identifies, captures, and swallows it faster than your eye can register the movement. It is officially the fastest eating mammal on Earth, clocked at 0.2 seconds from detection to swallow. Eye. The eye is a nocturnal primate found only on the island of Madagascar. It's the largest nocturnal primate in the world and one of the most genetically isolated. Its closest relatives split off from other lemurs over 40 million years ago. Local folklore considers it an omen of death, and one look at it explains why. An eye measures about 14 to 17 inches in body length, with a tail equally long, putting the total at around 3 feet from nose to tail. It's roughly the size of your average house cat, weighing in between 4 and 6 pounds. The fur is coarse and black, the tail bushy and oversized, and it has bat-like ears that rotate independently on top of its head. Its distinct round yellow eyes glow in the dark. An eye has long skeletal fingers extending forward from a paw that looks more dead than alive, and one finger, the middle, is dramatically thinner and longer than the rest. The finger has a ball and socket joint at its base, allowing it to swivel in directions no other primate finger can do. Even with the alien-like fingers and face, you don't need to fear the eye. They are extremely hard to find in the wild due to them being exclusively nocturnal, highly elusive, and spending their time high up in the forest canopy. Eyes hunt by tapping that weird middle finger against tree bark up to 8 times per second, listening for the hollow echo of grubs tunneling beneath the surface. When it finds something, it gnaws a hole with rodent-like teeth and fishes the grub out with the same long finger. The eye is the only primate that hunts using echolocation-style percussion, and the only one with a finger evolved specifically as a tool. Barreleye fish. The barreleye fish lives in the deep mesopelagic and bathypelagic zones of the Pacific Ocean, between more than 2,000 feet below the surface. First discovered in 1939, no one knew what it actually looked like alive until a research team filmed one in 2004. And what they captured rewrote the textbooks. A barreleye fish is about 6 inches long with a dark, torpedo-shaped body and broad fins. But the head is the main attraction. It's completely transparent, about 2 inches across, like a dome of clear glass filled with fluid. Inside that dome, 2 bright green tubular eyes sit upright, glowing softly, pointed at the ceiling of its own skull. The 2 black dots on the front of the face that look like eyes are actually nostrils. The real eyes are behind them, sealed inside the see-through head, and they can rotate. The fish can look straight up to spot prey silhouetted against faint light, then swivel its eyes forward to track and eat, all without moving its body. You'll never meet a barreleye fish in person. They live too deep in the oceans for people to ever encounter them. An interesting theory scientists believe is the barreleye fish may steal food directly from siphonophores, which is a long, complex pelagic colony of thousands of stinging jellies. They believe the transparent dome of the barreleye fish may have evolved as a protective shield against those tentacles. Goblin Shark. The goblin shark is a rare deep-sea predator found in waters around the world at depths between 300 and 4,000 feet. It belongs to a lineage of sharks that's been around for 125 million years, earning it the nickname living fossil. Almost everything known about it comes from accidental catches by deep water fishing nets. A goblin shark can grow in ranges from 10 to 13 feet long and can weigh over 400 pounds. The body is slim and flabby, with translucent pinkish skin that reveals blood vessels underneath. The snout extends forward like a flat blade, almost a foot long on adults. Below that snout sits a mouth that, at rest, appears almost normal. Then it opens. The goblin shark's jaws are not attached to its skull the way other sharks are. They're held by elastic ligaments that allow the entire jaw assembly to launch forward out of the face like a slingshot, extending the bite range by nearly 10% of the shark's body length in a fraction of a second. No other shark hunts this way. You'll never meet a goblin shark either. They live too deep, and encounters are vanishingly rare. The shark hunts by drifting slowly through the deep waters, using electroreceptors in its long snout to detect the faint electrical fields of nearby prey. When something is close enough, the jaws fire forward, clamping shut before the prey has time to react. Its pinkish color isn't pigment. Goblin sharks have such translucent skin that what you're seeing is the blood underneath. They appear almost ghostly. Real quick, I want to thank you all for taking the time to check out another video here at Perplex Cosmos. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit the like button and smash the subscribe button. It really helps me continue pumping out these videos. Let's get back to these aliens that look like animals. Proboscis Monkey. The Proboscis monkey lives only on the island of Borneo in Southeast Asia, in shrubs, forests, swamps, and along riverbanks. They are large social primates that live in groups of up to 30 individuals. A male Proboscis monkey weighs between 40 and 50 pounds and measures up to 30 inches in body length, with a tail equally long. The fur is reddish-brown across the back, pale on the underside, and a permanent potbelly hangs low on the body. They have one feature that makes them instantly recognizable. Scientists have spent decades trying to explain: the nose. In adult males, it's an exceptionally large, fleshy hanging nose that can grow over 7 inches long, hanging down past the mouth and sometimes needing to be pushed aside before eating. It's a sexual selection trait. Females prefer males with bigger noses, and recent research has shown that the larger the nose, the deeper and louder the males call, which acts as both a mating signal and a warning to rival males. The nose is essentially a built-in megaphone. Proboscis monkeys forage by moving slowly through the canopy, eating leaves, unripe fruit, and seeds. Their stomachs are chambered like a cow's, allowing them to digest tough vegetation that would poison most primates. Proboscis monkeys are one of the best swimmers in the primate world. They have partially webbed feet and can swim underwater for over 60 feet, used to escape predators like crocodiles. Naked mole rat. The naked mole rat lives in massive underground colonies beneath the dry grasslands of East Africa, primarily Kenya, Ethiopia, and Somalia. A single colony can contain up to 300 individuals and stretch for miles through interconnected tunnels. They're mammals, but they don't behave like any mammal you've ever seen. A naked mole rat measures about 3 to 4 inches long, roughly the size of a pinky finger, and weighs just over an ounce. The skin is wrinkled, hairless, and pale pink. Their tiny eyes are barely visible, appearing like small dots on their faces. They have oversized buck teeth that stick out in front of the lips and can move independently, like chopsticks. The body is tubular, almost worm-shaped, with short legs that work equally well moving forward or backward. You'd never get bitten by one. They're rarely encountered and barely visible above ground. They feed by gnawing through soil with those chopstick-like teeth, lips sealed behind them to keep dirt out of the mouth, searching for tubers and roots that can sustain the entire colony for weeks. This tiny, strange mammal doesn't age normally like other rodents. Naked mole rats are incredibly long-lived, routinely living over 30 to 40 years in captivity, compared to similarly sized rodents that typically live only 2 to 5 years. They are virtually insensitive to the burning pain of capsaicin, chili peppers, and acids because of a unique modification in their nerve receptors. Amazingly enough, this hairless creature can survive up to 18 minutes without oxygen. Shoebill. The shoebill is a massive, prehistoric-looking bird found in the freshwater swamps and marshes of central tropical Africa, primarily South Sudan, Uganda, and Zambia. It's so different from other birds that scientists place it in a family of its own. The species was unknown to Western science until the 1850s, and locals still call it the death stare bird for the way it watches without moving. A shoebill stands about 4 to 5 feet tall with a wingspan of around 8 feet and weighs up to 15 pounds. The body is slate gray, the legs long and dark, and the bird often stands completely still for hours at a time. Then you see the head. The beak of this massive bird is 9 inches long, 4 inches wide, shaped like a giant wooden shoe, in essence the name, tipped with a sharp hook designed for tearing. Combined with intense pale yellow eyes set forward on the face like a predator's, the head is built like no other on this planet. It hunts by standing perfectly still for hours, watching the water. When prey breaks the surface, the shoebill collapses its entire body forward in a single explosive lunge, scooping the prey into that enormous bill before snapping shut. Interestingly enough, shoebills bow to humans. When researchers approach their nests, the birds perform a deliberate, slow head bow as a non-threatening gesture, one of the few wild birds known to actively acknowledge humans this way. Potoo. The potoo is a nocturnal bird found across the forests of Central and South America. There are 7 known species, and despite being widespread, they're rarely seen during the day because of one remarkable ability. They don't move. They become tree branches. The species you're most likely to encounter is the common potoo, made famous by close-up photos and memes of its permanently shocked face. A common potoo measures about 14 inches from head to tail, the size of a small loaf of bread, and weighs around 6 ounces. The feathers are mottled brown, gray, and black, perfectly mimicking tree bark. The body is slim and upright. And the face is what made this bird a meme. Enormous yellow eyes, an impossibly wide mouth, and a perpetually surprised expression that looks frozen mid-scream. The potoo can open its beak to a width nearly as wide as its own head, creating a face that looks more like a Halloween mask than a real bird. The eyes themselves contain special slits in the eyelids that allow it to see even with its eyes closed, meaning it can stay motionless on a branch all day and still detect predators or prey. It hunts by perching at the tip of a broken branch, completely still, until an insect flies within range. Then the bill snaps open and shut in a single motion, and the bird returns to its frozen pose. The potoo's main defense isn't camouflage alone. When threatened, it stretches its body upward, points its bill to the sky, and goes completely rigid, turning itself into a near-perfect imitation of a broken branch. Tarsier. The tarsier is a tiny nocturnal primate found in the rainforests of Southeast Asia. They're one of the oldest primate lineages on Earth, with fossil ancestors dating back over 45 million years, and they have eyes so large that early naturalists thought the specimens were deformed. A tarsier weighs only 3 to 6 ounces and stands 4 to 6 inches in body length. The fur is soft and gray-brown, the fingers thin and almost frog-like with rounded pads at the tips. But the eyes are the reason we are talking about this primate. Each eye is roughly the size of the tarsier's entire brain. Each eyeball measures about 16 millimeters across, proportionally the largest eyes of any mammal on Earth. The eyes are so big they can't move inside the skull. To compensate, the tarsier's neck rotates 180 degrees in either direction, like an owl, giving it a near 360-degree field of view. It hunts by clinging vertically to a tree trunk in total darkness, scanning with those enormous eyes, listening with oversized ears. When prey is detected, the tarsier launches, leaping up to 40 times its body length in a single jump, and catches the prey in midair. Tarsiers communicate in pure ultrasound. Their calls are so high-pitched, above 90 kilohertz, that humans can't hear them at all. They're essentially screaming to each other in a frequency we'll never perceive. Strawberry squid. The strawberry squid lives in the twilight zone of the open ocean, 600 to 3,000 feet below the surface. It's named for its deep red coloring covered in light-producing organs called photophores, which dot its body like the seeds on a strawberry. They are rarely seen, and almost everything known about them comes from deep-sea research submarines. A strawberry squid grows to about 5 inches long and weighs only a few ounces. The body is bright red, covered in tiny glowing photophores, and 8 arms trail behind. But the eyes are the spectacle. One eye is enormous, yellow, and tubular, bulging forward from the head, and nearly the size of the squid's entire skull. The other eye is small, ordinary, and pointed downward. The two eyes do two completely different jobs. The big yellow eye looks upward, scanning for prey against the dim light filtering down from the surface. The small eye looks downward, watching for the flashes of bioluminescence produced by predators rising from below. The squid is monitoring 2 different environments at once with 2 different eye designs in the same head. It hunts by drifting motionless with its tentacles tucked, eyes scanning in both directions. When prey passes overhead, the squid darts upward and grabs with its arms. The red color is camouflage. Red light doesn't reach the deep ocean, so to every other deep-sea creature, the strawberry squid appears completely black and invisible against the dark water.